Well, good afternoon. We're here with Roberto Flores Atié, who's CEO of Progresemos, which is a non-bank financial institution in Mexico, and the subject is rural and agricultural finance. We've just listened to a very interesting presentation, Don Roberto, about the challenges in financing small farmers and the lessons that you've learned and the scars that you bear from the developing the programs that you have. So um, I'm going to turn it over to Roy, who I think has some specific questions that maybe you can share your thoughts with us on some of those.
These
Sure, thank you.
questions are related to the presentation you've just delivered perfectly. So what I thought was fascinating was when you talked about how your organisation is dealing with climate risk. The idea that when you're dealing with agricultural producers and other actors and you're lending to them, there's real challenges of natural disaster, be it flood, drought, etc. So the question is, how does your organisation cope with climate risk?
Well, what we are trying to do is to really find out institutions, insurance companies, and other players in the field of insurance trying to develop the right solutions. So far in our experience, we haven't found really the kind of services or insurance policies that could really diminish or reduce the risk of the climate variations and the natural disasters. We haven't been able to find out really a product that fits what we believe is the real need for this kind of coverage. Therefore, we think we need to work together with different players in the industry to try to develop a product, a coverage that could really fit the needs of these highly variable climate changes.
Do you expect the issue to get greater as climate change becomes more pronounced? And what are you doing to manage that?
Well, definitely in some areas of the world, this global warming, etc., is going to bring new challenges because, from my understanding, this is certainly an area which is continues to be evolving, and no final answers are in place to really try to define every single aspect of the impacts that the global warming is going to bring to different areas in different parts of the world.
During your presentation, you spoke very eloquently about the supply chain interventions that you and your organisation have done to help provide finance to agricultural actors, especially where value chains aren't complete and it's very difficult to actually do the lending there. Could you describe some of your pilot interventions and what your institution has done to help you facilitate lending in a sustainable way to agricultural actors?
Sure, we joined forces with Chiapas Granjas Orgánicas, another Mexican institution, and we helped out a group of avocado producers, coffee growers, and tomato producers in 3 different states in Mexico. And we had a very good experience. The model, we believe, needs to be fine-tuned. Certainly, as in any new or innovative business area, you have to adjust your original thinking and to react as quickly as you can in order to reduce the risks involved in the whole process. Essentially, what we did was to link the buyer with the real producer, not with intermediaries or with wholesalers, but directly to the small farmer, the small producer. So the experiences that we have had have been extremely, encouraging. We believe there is a way forward. We haven't finished yet all the details in this kind of supply chain organizations, and but we are encouraged by the results that we have got so far, and I'm pretty sure in a couple of years' time, the model is going to be, refined, and we think we are going to find the right way to do it.
It's very interesting to hear about this because that's not usually what a lending institution does. Have you had to employ staff with different skills to the normal banking staff? Or have you had to provide them with different training so that they can actually understand the agricultural sector better?
Because of the scale in which we have tested these theories, business theories and models, we haven't employed experts in that area. So what we have done is to contract consultants and people specialized in every single area, supply chain, purchasing, etc., but project by project. And if this is going to, reach the scale that we are looking for, definitely, we would have to have a staff directly employed by Progresemos to further develop and to convey the whole structure to the different groups of small farmers that we are organizing in order to better reach the final markets.
You spoke very well about how you had changed the repayment patterns from going from traditional microfinance to agricultural finance, where basically it takes 4 to 5 months for inputs to turn out to a product that can be sold. What we haven't heard about, not just from you but throughout the globe, is whether there's any kind of opportunities for microfinance to also start doing longer term loans for investment purposes, or is that still just too difficult in the agricultural sector?
I think it's, first of all, it is difficult nowadays because of the perceived risk in funding the microfinance institutions. But I think that if we were able to find the right funding to match the tenors, that would be the right way to do it. For example, if we can get a financial institution, a fund, a foundation, etc., interested in moving forward these initiatives and willing to grant funds for, say, 5 years, that would be great. I mean, the key issue for the microfinance institutions nowadays is funding. And usually, the terms of the credit facilities that you can get in the marketplace is for, say, a couple of years, or 12 months, or 36 months. So there is a natural mismatch between the final ends you are pursuing and the granted funding that you can use at any time. So if we can find a way to match the maturity of the credit facilities for the microfinance institution with the terms we believe are needed to really develop this business model with the small farmers, that would be great.
Fantastic. And one thing that struck me in that room today when you were presenting is we had a lot of questions from all the attendees, and they came from a whole range of countries across the world, people from Asia, from Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, and they all had questions relating to your model and how they could utilize it for their models. Do you think there's more opportunity for South-South exchange, for practitioners of microfinance in parts of Mexico being able to share their models that could be utilized and adapted for other regions?
Well, I think so. Certainly, I guess there are going to be key cultural differences. Climate is not exactly the same everywhere in the world. For example, density of population. I mean, there are parts of the world, and in Mexico is the case, in some southern states where you can find in 1 square kilometer 1,000 people. In some areas, to find out 1,000 people, you need 1,000 kilometers. So, you know what I mean? It's difficult to imagine that every single model is going to be easily replicated in other parts of the world. But I think that the key elements of the model, yes, they can be replicated, and I'm pretty sure with adjustments and tailor-made for the different cultures and areas of the world, I think it could work.